Hi, and welcome to the Clarity Confessions. This is Cailen Ascher, and this is the place to be for clarity, inspiration, and confessions from top female entrepreneurs. And I am so very honored to be joined today by Jennifer Jade. Jennifer is an international dream business coach, speaker, and mentor for female entrepreneurs who desire worldwide impact with their purpose-driven business. After significant loss in her family, she awakened to the fact that life was meant to be lived on our own terms in alignment with our highest calling. Her passion is connecting women to their purpose and then using her 10 years of entrepreneurial background and experience growing two previous successful businesses to help them move from online launch right to five-figure months and beyond. In just the first 6 months of her coaching business, Jen grew from 0 to 6 figures, is consistently sold out of her one-on-one program, and recently sold out her brand new signature Dream Starter online group program. When she's not working on her dream business, Jen can be found on the beaches of Southern California, Vancouver Island, or whatever sunny beach destination her heart has taken her to. Jen and I connected a few months back when we were at this amazing mastermind event at the Plaza in New York City, and I knew upon meeting her that she would have so much to bring to the Clarity Confession. So I'm so happy to have you here, Jen. Thanks for being here.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Cailen, we had an instant connection at the Plaza, and I'm just so happy that you reached out and we've stayed connected. And it's a real honor to be here and to connect with your followers, with your fans, and with anyone listening today. I'm really, really excited. Thank you.
Oh, of course. This is so nice to be chatting again. I'd love to, before we get into those rapid fire questions, just have you round out the picture a little bit and just give us a little taste of what got you started on the entrepreneurial path that you're now on.
That's a great question. I would say it goes back to my mom being a single mom and deciding to start her own business and live life on her own terms, even though she didn't have two pennies to rub together. And I just looking back, I was so inspired by that. And around the age of 16, I realized I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do yet, but I knew that I wanted to do it for myself. And so I think it was around 16 that the seed was planted. And anything that I've sought out since then has always been guiding me to being limitless, I think. And I think the best way to be limitless is to be your own boss.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I got the entrepreneurial bug early on in life. It was never a question that was what I was meant to do. So I can totally relate to you just having that gut instinct. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing something for myself.
That's right. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So I'd love to move into the Clarity Confession questions now. So I've got a couple of rapid fire things for you. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. So describe your business in 10 words or less.
Connecting women to their soul's purpose and taking the action necessary to create worldwide impact with it.
Nice. I like that. Worldwide impact. Who doesn't want that? Why do you love your work?
There's something in my bones that I know this is what I was born to be doing, and I feel it more passionately and stronger than anything I've ever felt in my life. So I feel that I'm living in my purpose and that I'm doing what I was born to do.
Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah, it's the greatest feeling ever.
So this one kind of piggybacks off of that. What makes you feel the most successful?
I would say that's the moments when I'm talking to my clients and they're telling me about the breakthrough they just had, whether it's a personal breakthrough, a mindset breakthrough, a new client, income breakthrough. But essentially, it would be listening to my clients' breakthroughs.
Really good.
Yeah.
What personal practices or self-care do you make time for regularly?
Okay, this is so huge.
Yeah.
I finally learned that we can only give what we have to give, and if we're running on depleted and empty all the time, we're quickly going to run out of being able to give. So if you want to give at a worldwide level, you need to be able to receive at a worldwide level and love yourself at a worldwide level. So self-care is huge. So I would say daily it's I do something every day for mind, body, and soul. So I've got a morning ritual for cleansing my energy, connecting to source, grounding myself, and clearing my chakras. Physically, I go to the gym. If it's not a gym day, it's, walking out in fresh air, nature with my dog. And then mentally is plugging into something like this, like amazing women like you creating amazing podcasts, plugging into high vibe, high frequency learning. So a podcast like this, a book, anything that I can for at least 20 minutes a day.
Oh, really good. Yeah, I remember you saying something at the mastermind about you hit on it here about not being able to serve unless you've filled up your own cup. And then you share from the overflow, and that visual.
Oh my gosh, I completely remembered that.
Yeah, but that visual stuck with me. It was, I just love. I'm a very visual person, and so I was like, yeah, like the overflow. We're not giving from our own energy and our own resources. We're giving from the overflow because we're in that place of abundance.
Yes, exactly. So living in abundance, and that we don't have to. But giving doesn't have to mean depleting ourselves. Yeah. So we could be full on our own and be giving from our overflow, from our abundance. You got it. Oh, I'm so happy you remembered that. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was great. I was like, that's a really good one. And I'm like, if I ever share this, I'm going to, credit Jen, because this is a really eloquent way of saying that. So, awesome. All right, I've got 3 more rapid fire, and then we'll move into more chatting. So what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I had 2 words that popped up, so I was trying to decide. I would say freedom, and number 2, limitless. So limitless possibility, limitless potential, limitless anything, anywhere, anytime. That's income, where you live, what you do, how hard or how little you work, your days off, where you are, when you are. So I'd say freedom and the limitlessness.
And so what is the worst thing then about being an entrepreneur?
I would say when you're this in love with something, it's easy to become obsessed. It's really easy to become obsessed. And, not that that's a bad thing, but as long as you can keep your self-love, your self-care in check, keeping balanced with still seeing family and friends and making sure that, we do have more than one cup to fill up. And so as long as we're not putting all our eggs just into our business, I think it's great to be obsessed and like love and everything, our business, as long as it's not causing us to go out of whack and out of balance. So for me, I would say the most challenging part is keeping all other areas of my life balanced while running something that I just love so much.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It seeps into everything. You think about it constantly.
Yes, totally.
And lastly, what is one word that sums up your business?
I'm going to cheat a little, and I'm going to give 2 words. And I'm going to say, I'm going to say at the bottom line, the biggest why, the reason I do this, and my hopes and goals for anyone that I ever work with or touch personally, or meet personally, would be soul expansion.
Yeah, I love that. I love expansion. I've been playing with that word a lot in my life lately, like over the last 6 months or so, and it's a good thing to go after. It feels really good.
I feel like it's one of the main reasons that we're even here, that why we're born, why we're here is to learn and to grow and to do all things that we can't do when we're in any other incarnations, realms.
Are you familiar with the teachings of Abraham Hicks?
I am. I've dabbled. I wouldn't say that I know them inside and out.
No,
but
just some of the things about expansion and source energy and stuff. It was,
totally aligned.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd love to hear more about your first year in business, because you had a really epic first year in business, and I think we hear a lot about how they got started, and I feel like the first year either it's it's kind of like yours, like this dynamic explosion, or the first year is a lot of struggle. And we've heard both stories, but I'd love to hear yours because it's a good one.
I think, well, to be honest, I'm still in my first year of my coaching business. So I'm in about month, I would say 8 or 9. But it did take off really quickly. And I think to people who maybe don't know my story, they would think maybe it was just like this overnight success kind of a thing. That does kind of what it looks like from the outside. But really, I haven't received a traditional paycheck in 10 years. I was 22 years old the last time, I was paid by the hour. After that, I became a full-time mortgage broker. So I was in finance, and I call it my 9 to 5, but I didn't have any limitations on how much income I could create or anything. And I also didn't have a minimum. So I was 100% commission based. I could make $0 or $100,000 or more. But it was very scary. It was actually 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday. I was given my last paycheck. I already had a mortgage at this time. And I had to learn how to hustle. And I'm 5'2". I have a bit of a little voice. And I was in a market of primarily middle-aged men. So I needed to figure out how to gain their trust, how to gain their referrals. I'm talking about realtors sending me their clients for mortgages. I needed to learn how to network, and I needed to learn how to get out of my comfort zone. I mean, we hear that a lot, but that's because that is the number one thing you have to do is get out of your comfort zone, feel the fear and do it anyway, and put yourself out there, put yourself out there, put yourself out there. So I've been doing that for 10 years. And then, you mentioned in my intro that there was a significant loss in our family, and that was in my mid-20s. And around that time, I was starting to see my life unfold week after week after week of just being a repeat of the previous week. And I thought, oh my gosh, am I really going to sit in this office with no windows, quoting interest rates and, finding out what the Minister of Finance said and, quoting him to the realtors. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really, I'm going to spend, the next 40 years. And I thought there's got to be something more than this. And even, by this time, by my mid-20s, I was generating a decent income. I was able to travel. I could go shopping. I had a house, a car, a husband, all these things. All these things, I checked all the boxes that you're supposed to feel successful and happy, and yet I still went to bed at night with this empty feeling. And I thought, what is this? So losing my family member, that was the biggest shake. Like I was grabbed by both shoulders and just like, wake up! And so I thought, forget this. I need to go after my childhood dream, which was destination wedding photography. So I had this dream of traveling the world to beautiful destinations and taking photos of couples in love. And so I thought, I need to either try and fail at this or be successful. But either way, at the end of my days, I need to know that I tried. And even if that meant failing, I'd say my biggest regret would be getting to my deathbed and wondering what if. And I think about that every day. So I left, and it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done, to walk away from a secure job with good income. I didn't have any limits on how far I could go or what I could do, and people thought I was crazy, I'm sure. But I walked away from that to pursue my photography business. And I got mentors for that right away. I wanted to hit the ground running. I did as much learning about both business and the skill of photography as I could. And that business did really well. It also was successful as soon as I left mortgages. I had done a year of mentoring and learning and preparing, so that by the time I was full-time, it did take off quite well. And for a few years, it was awesome. I was shooting, here on Vancouver Island. I was shooting in Hawaii, Australia, down in the Caribbean. But then I started to get that tap on the shoulder from the universe again, that it was time to do something else. And that was terrifying because I had no clue what that would be. And then finally, I realized the thought that I had had a couple of years previous. And that was after my first full-time wedding season, thinking, oh my gosh, this is the best feeling in the world I've ever had. Nothing could be better than this. And then this thought came up. I think it was like intuition or guidance or something said, the only thing that could be better than this would be showing other women how they could feel the same way. And I ignored that for a couple years, but it definitely bubbled up again, which got me into coaching, and here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like, when you see these quote unquote overnight successes, there's so much that goes into creating that overnight success. I mean, my story has some parallels to yours. I mean, I started right out of college as an entrepreneur. I never had a typical office job. I was always, hustling and trying to figure things out. And there was a lot of pivoting from one industry to the next as I looked for my thing. And then in this past year, since I found coaching, because I too feel like, for now at least, right? You never know when the calling is going to hit you, but it's right where I need to be. And it's the most aligned profession that I've ever been in for myself, and things have taken off.
Totally.
But that was, 8 years in the making for this, kind of last year of explosion. And I think it's really refreshing to hear your story and know that so much goes into it. So much. It's never truly that overnight success that you think you might be getting a glimpse of when you look at somebody's story from the outside.
Got it. And I really loved what you just said right there about being in alignment, because I had, one of those little inner whisperings a few weeks ago was fortune favors the aligned. And I mean that in all ways, whether that's financially, love, abundance, health, all of it. But I think the more aligned you are, the more in flow you are, and the more success that you'll have, and success in all forms.
Yeah.
So, getting in alignment with what your soul has been kind of nudging you to do and guiding you. And even once you find it, continuing to follow those nudges with, who your ideal client is or what your next service or package should be. The more and more and more aligned you can get, I think the more and more success you'll find.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely resonance with that. So cool. I would love to know, now that you're here at this place in your business and you realize what happens when you find that alignment, looking back, what was the best investment that you made or the best thing you did for yourself or your business over this past kind of whirlwind year when things really took off for you?
The first thing that comes up for me as you were asking me that was the 6 months I spent with a life coach. So this wasn't a business coach. It was just a life coach. I didn't even know that at the time that I was going to go into coaching. I was just feeling that lost, that I was getting that tapping on the shoulder from the universe. I was feeling a bit lost and confused. I didn't even really understand what a life coach was or how they worked, but I had this conversation with a person who I really, really connected with. I could see them really helping me break through whatever I was brushing up against and feeling that resistance from. And so that's 6 months that we worked on mindset and self-limiting beliefs and letting those go and patterns that I didn't even realize that I had that were holding me back, and just working through those for 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months is when I found that clarity that I too was going to move into coaching. I would say that honestly was the prequel before starting my business was the greatest investment. And then of course, specifically for my business, would absolutely be hiring my own one-on-one mentor who had built the business and the lifestyle that I desired, that I really, really resonated with, that I really clicked with, and just being taken under their wing and working with them week after week after week.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that, because I think one of the things that it kind of keeps us playing small is when we keep thinking we can figure it all out on our own.
Yes.
And it's gosh. Yeah, I'll bootstrap and piece these things together and, I'll figure it all out. Yeah. And when you realize that, if there's someone out there doing what you're hoping to do or a version of what you're hoping to do, and they can kind of pre-pave the path for you and show you the way and help you sidestep obstacles, it's so worth it. And it does fast forward, both of us kind of had that almost decade-long journey, and it can shorten it. It can kind of speed you along. So I totally agree that seeking out mentors is one of the best things you do. And I realized every high-level person out there that I admire, they all have that. They all invest in that and see value in that. And so to emulate that too, seeking out that guidance is really, really key.
And
really
that's probably why you and I both see the value in that, because we have spent the 10 years or whatever length of time trying to figure it out on our own or making it up as we go and trying and failing. And that's definitely one way of doing it. But, if you do seek to condense your learning curve and shorten the distance between you and your ultimate goals and dreams, definitely that's finding someone who's already living it and learning from them. And so, I've spent the time doing it on my own and being that kind of bullheaded, I can do it myself. I can figure it out on my own, or I don't, kind of almost in some sense, I'm going to say being cheap with myself as well.
Yeah.
And then finally realizing after the span of those years, thinking, you know what, this investment into someone who can show me how they did exactly what I want to do is priceless to me. And so that's what I did, and I moved heaven and earth to make that happen.
Yeah, and there's a huge worthiness piece with that. Like, we have to really, truly value ourselves before that's what investing in your business is. It's an investment in yourself. And so, yeah, that's why the mindset thing is so huge.
Totally,
right?
Totally.
Find that worthiness and tap into it. So just one last question before we wrap things up. I just want to hear from you. Like, what are you most excited about right now? Like, what's on the horizon for you? What's, getting you really all like jazzed up about your business?
Oh my gosh, great question. So I was wondering what's next, because I've sold out my one-on-ones, and I've started my group program, which is, oh my gosh, it's going better than I could ever dreamed. I didn't realize I was going to love it this much. So I have been thinking lately, like, what's next? And just having a conversation with my coach even yesterday, I've realized that I want to take 4 women. I don't know where the number 4 comes from, but it's 4 women. Maybe they already exist, and I just know that there's 4 of them. And walk them through the first 6 months of my business. So how I went from 0 to 6 figures in the first 6 months. So I'm going to go through my notes, my process, all the steps that I took, and share it with these 4 women. And together we're just going to link arms and walk them through the first 6 figures of their business as well. So that's what's coming up on the horizon. And I'm nervous and like just thrilled and excited and exhilarated at the same time.
Oh, that sounds perfect. That sounds like such a high such a high value thing to offer people out there who are really craving that intimate guidance. I mean, really exciting. Oh, I can see why you're so excited about that. Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So lastly, just let us know where we can find you and what you've got going on.
Awesome. So, you can find out a little bit more about me. I've got a video where I share a bit more of my story and some resources at jenniferjayde.com. So that's JENNIFER, JAYDE.com. And I've got a free offer on there. It's called the Dream Starter Kit. And I think, we might share a link as well.
Definitely.
Below this recording. But in there, I actually share, earlier in the interview, I mentioned that I have this morning ritual where in 8 minutes every morning, I just cleanse yesterday's old negative vibes off me, anything that might have come across or clung to me. I connect with Source, I ground myself, I open my chakras, and I noticed in the first week that I started doing that practice, I do it every day, that my energies just started going up and up and up and up and up, which not only felt good personally, but started affecting my business as well. So I have that recording in there. I've got another one where you can connect with yourself and get guidance from yourself 10 years from now. So it's your future self giving you guidance on what your next steps would be in this present moment. So that's in there. And then a few other tips and tricks and tools that I used when I was just super terrified to leave my job and pursue my dreams. So that's in the Dream Starter Kit, which is totally free and just something I really wanted to give out to the world and to anyone that's feeling that nudge to step more into their purpose or their passions for their life, but are also feeling that powerful resistance of fear and ego and inner critic and things as well. So these are some tools to break through that. And I think Did I answer the question?
Yes. Yeah,
Cool.
that was awesome.
Okay,
no,
good.
we know where to find you. We know what to look for when we're showing up. That was perfect. Sounds like some really great, valuable tools for everyone listening. So be sure to head over to Jen's website and grab those for yourself. Jen, thank you so much for being on the Clarity Confessions. It was such a pleasure having this conversation with you, and you shared so much valuable insights and so many great tips for our listeners. It's really been a pleasure chatting with you again.
Thank you, Cailen. Honestly, you're doing amazing things in the world just by connecting women and sharing with them what's possible and showing them examples and helping them connect with themselves and their purpose and encouraging them to get out there and start living it and sharing their gifts with the world. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thanks so much. It's a pleasure. And I hope to talk soon. Take care.
Well, talk to you soon. Bye.